Charles Robert Redford Jr. is an American actor and filmmaker. He has received numerous accolades such as an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, and 2 Golden Globe Awards, as well as the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 1994, the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award in 1996, the Academy Honorary Award in 2002, the Kennedy Center Honors in 2005, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, and the Honorary Caesar in 2019. He was named by Time as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2014. Appearing on stage in the late 1950s, Redford's television career began in 1960, including an appearance on Alfred Hitchcock Presents in 1961 and The Twilight Zone in 1962. His greatest Broadway success was as the stuffy newlywed husband in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park, 1963. Redford made his film debut in War Hunt, 1962. He gained success as a leading man in films such as Barefoot in the Park, 1967, Butch Cassidy the Sundance Kid, 1969, Jeremiah Johnson, 1972, and The Candidate. He received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in The Crime Caper The Sting, 1973. He continued to star in such films as The Way We Were, 1973, All the President's Men, 1976, and The Electric Horseman. Redford made his directorial film debut with Ordinary People, 1980, winning 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. During this time, he starred in films such as Brubaker, 1980, The Natural, 1984, and Out of Africa, 1985. He released his 3rd film as a director, A River Runs Through It, in 1992. He went on to receive Best Director and Best Picture nominations in 1995 for Quiz Show. In 1981, Redford co-founded the Sundance Resort and Film Institute. His later film roles include All Is Lost, 2013, Truth, 2015, Our Souls at Night, 2017, and The Old Man and the Gun, 2018. Redford portrayed Alexander Pierce in Captain America, The Winter Soldier, 2014, and Avengers: Endgame, 2019. Redford was born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, to Martha Woodruff Redford and Charles Robert Redford Sr., 1914 to 1991, an accountant. He has a paternal half-brother, William. Redford is of English, Scottish, and Irish ancestry. His patrilineal great-great-grandfather, a Protestant Englishman named Elisha Redford, married Marian McCreary, of Irish Catholic descent, in Manchester. They emigrated to New York City in 1849, immediately settling in Stonington, Connecticut. They had a son named Charles, the first in line to have been given the name. Regarding Redford's maternal lineage, the Harts were Irish from Galway and the Greens were Scots-Irish who settled in the United States in the 18th century. Redford's family lived in Van Nuys while his father worked in El Segundo. Robert attended Van Nuys High School, where he was classmates with baseball pitcher Don Drysdale. He has described himself as having been a bad student, finding inspiration outside the classroom in art and sports. He hit tennis balls with Pancho Gonzalez at the Los Angeles Tennis Club to help Gonzalez warm up for matches. After graduating from high school in 1954, he attended the University of Colorado in Boulder for a year and a half, where he was a member of the Kappa Sigma fraternity. While there, he worked at a restaurant/bar called The Sink, where a painting of his likeness still figures prominently among the bar's murals. While at Colorado, Redford began drinking heavily and, as a result, lost his half-scholarship and was kicked out of school. He went on to travel in Europe, living in France, Spain, and Italy. He later studied painting at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn and took classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, class of 1959, in New York City. Redford's career, like that of many major stars who emerged in the 1950s, began in New York City, where the actor found work both on stage and in television. His Broadway debut was in a small role in Tall Story, 1959, followed by parts in The Highest Tree, 1959, and Sunday in New York, 1961. His biggest Broadway success was as the stuffy newlywed husband of Elizabeth Ashley in the original 1963 cast of Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park. Starting in 1960, Redford appeared as a guest star on numerous television drama programs, including Naked City, Maverick, The Untouchables, The Americans, Whispering Smith, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Route 66, Dr. Kildare, Playhouse 90, Tate, The Twilight Zone, The Virginian, and Captain Brassbound's Conversion, among others. Redford made his screen debut in Tall Story, 1960, in a minor role. The film's stars were Anthony Perkins, Jane Fonda, her debut, and Ray Walston. After his Broadway success, he was cast in larger feature roles in movies. In 1960, Redford was cast as Danny Tilford, a mentally disturbed young man trapped in the wreckage of his family garage, in Breakdown, one of the last episodes of the syndicated adventure series, Rescue 8, starring Jim Davis and Lang Jeffries. Redford earned an Emmy nomination as Best Supporting Actor for his performance in the voice of Charlie Pond, ABC, 1962. One of his last television appearances until 2019 was on October 7, 1963, on Breaking Point, an ABC medical drama about psychiatry. In 1962, Redford got his second film role in War Hunt, and was soon after cast alongside screen legend Alec Guinness in the war comedy Situation Hopeless, But Not Serious, in which he played a U.S. soldier falsely imprisoned by a German civilian even after the war has ended. In Inside Daisy Clover, 1965, which won him a Golden Globe for Best New Star, he played a bisexual movie star who marries starlet Natalie Wood, and rejoined her along with Charles Bronson for Sidney Pollack's This Property is Condemned, 1966, again as her lover, though this time in a film which achieved even greater success. The same year saw his first teaming, on equal footing, with Jane Fonda, in Arthur Penn's The Chase. This film marked the only time Redford would star with Marlon Brando. Fonda and Redford were paired again in the popular big-screen version of Barefoot in the Park and were again co-stars many years later in Pollack's The Electric Horseman, 1979, followed 38 years later with a Netflix feature, Our Souls at Night. After this initial success, Redford became concerned about his blonde male stereotype image and refused roles in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And The Graduate. Redford found the niche he was seeking in George Roy Hill's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, scripted by William Goldman, in which he was paired for the first time with Paul Newman. The film was a huge success and made him a major bankable star, cementing his screen image as an intelligent, reliable, sometimes sardonic good guy. While Redford did not receive an Academy Award or Golden Globe nomination for playing the Sundance Kid, he won a British Academy of Film and Television Award, BAFTA, for that role and his parts in Downhill Racer and Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here, 1969. The latter two films and the subsequent Little Foss and Big Halsey, 1970, and The Hot Rock, 1972, were not commercially successful. Redford had long harbored ambitions to work on both sides of the camera. As early as 1969, Redford had served as the executive producer for Downhill Racer. The political satire The Candidate, 1972, was a moderate box office and critical success. Starting in 1973, Redford experienced an almost unparalleled four-year run of box office success. The Western Jeremiah Johnson's, 1972, box office earnings from early 1973 until its second re-release in 1975 would have placed it as the No. 2 highest-grossing film of 1973. The romantic period drama with Barbra Streisand, The Way We Were, 1973, was the fifth highest-grossing film of 1973. The crime caper reunion with Paul Newman, The Sting, 1973, became the top-grossing film of 1974 and one of the top 20 highest-grossing movies of all time when adjusted for inflation, plus landed Redford the lone nomination of his career for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Well, James Redford, a documentary filmmaker, philanthropist, and the son of Robert Redford, died last week at age 58. His death was confirmed by his wife, Kyle, who first posted a tribute to her husband Friday on Twitter. Well guys, what are your thoughts? Do tell us. Thanks for watching.